Hello friends, how are you doing today? My name is Mary, this is Happily Ever Esch, and today we are talking our February might be read, to be read, however you want to think about it, pile of books. That's what we're talking about today. So hello, how are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. I hope that for you. But yes, we're chatting books that we hope to read in April. There's a couple different reading challenges, readathon, things that I hope to participate in this month. The first one being O.W.L.s. I wasn't sure if I was going to participate, and I still don't have like a super set plan for that readathon, but I did a little more research. I've never really done a lot of digging into the readathon. I've just seen people's TBRs and it's so much fun. So I am definitely going to try to have a career and fit my TBR in it. There's a couple that I've starred and I went through all the different prompts. So I will kind of chat about them as I share the books, but I had already picked the books that I wanted to read this month before kind of learning more about that readathon. So I definitely plan to merge it into my reading and think that I can. I just need to, once I see the prompts with my books, I can like go and pick a career. And I've started a couple that I'm interested in. So anyway, I will talk about some of those prompts here, but the other kind of reading challenge I hope to participate is one hosted by Whitney at the Unread Shelf over on Instagram. I chat about her all the time because she is one of my favorite bookstagrammers, and for this kind of like social distancing, self-quarantining time that we're all living in, she came up with a little unread book bingo. I will put a link to her like blog if you want to sign up for the Unread Shelf project and get the emails. She sends this like personally to your email. But I do plan to fit kind of my reading in, and it is for any unread books that you read off your shelf like at the beginning of March to the end of April. So even if you're getting a little bit of a late start, you can count some of those reads that you had earlier in the last month. So I think that I will be doing the last row of this. So the last row is Blue Book, more than 400 pages, nonfiction, audiobook, and author of color. Or I might do the middle row, which I already did one of the prompts. It said did not finish and unshelved. I finished the book and unshelved it, so I'm still counting it. And that's the Child Finder. And then we also have Own Voices, any unread book, a read book, read like the color, not that you read it, and then a nonfiction read. So those are my two kind of little activities, readathons, challenges I hope to participate in. So now let's get into what we're all here for, which is the books. So we can start with what I'm currently reading, and what I'm physically currently reading right now is The Final Empire, the first book in the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. I am about, I don't know, a fifth of the way through and quite enjoying this. We are thrown into a whole new world, and the premise of this is like, what if the Dark Lord won? And it's an adventure story. We're following a group of, I mean, you could maybe call them wizards, magical people who can consume metals, and this gives them like special powers. So does that count as a wizard? I don't know, you tell me, but I'm quite enjoying this. And it's a very well-loved fantasy series by many different readers, and Sanderson's writing is super inviting to read and get into, and I really appreciate that. Sometimes with fantasy novels that can be a challenge for me, and I was sucked right into his writing and his world, so I'm very excited to continue on with this. And this was on my February TBR. I didn't get to it that month, but I didn't give up hope, and we're still chucking right along. So this will fit in the challenge for the Unread Shelf bingo in a book over 400 pages, or it could be that middle any unread book prompt. So those are the two it kind of fits. So there is that one. The next book is my audiobook, and I am currently listening to The Dutch House by Ann Patchett. If you've seen a few of my other videos that I posted recently, you will know that Ann Patchett is a new favorite author, and I am quite enjoying this audiobook. It has a very similar kind of contemporary feel that her other novel that I read, Commonwealth, does, but this book is centered all around a place called the Dutch House and the history around this house and how this house affects this group of people's lives. It's very kind of rich in atmosphere, and Tom Hanks narrates the audiobook, so that is just a joy. This won't count for the unread shelf bingo because it's not a book that I own, but it could count for the O.W.L.s Readathon, and it could go in contemporary, which is like Muggle studies, and there might be a couple other categories it would fit into. I would have to do a little more research on that, but I will probably put it down for my Muggle studies book. So now on to the hopefuls. The first being a book that I borrowed from the library, so again wouldn't count for that unread shelf bingo, and that's The War I Finally Won by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley. I read the first one in this duology last month and absolutely adored it, and I'm very excited to continue on with Ada's story. If I don't get to it this month, I will definitely be getting to it next month, but I have a feeling that I will be itching to be back in this world and with these characters sooner rather than later, so I have a strong hunch that I will be getting to this one. It's also a really quick read and could probably fit into some of the categories for the O.W.L.s Readathon. Next is a mystery series that I would like to continue on with, and probably will end up picking this up on audio, but I do have a physical copy, and that is Messenger of Truth by Jacqueline Winspear. This is the next in the Maisie Dobbs mystery series. It's a historical fiction mystery series following our main character, Maisie Dobbs, who was a nurse in World War I and now is a detective investigator lady who solves different crimes. She's like a private investigator for private hire, and a lot of the plot lines have to do with veterans, people who were involved in World War I in some way. It has a very heavy sense of place and atmosphere, which I absolutely eat up in a book, and there's just something so cozy and inviting and warm about these books, and I just am kind of in the mood. I think reading The War I Finally Won, which is also set in England, kind of had again that very heavy sense of place and atmosphere, and it just made me really want to pick up the next in this series. So I've got it on my shelf, and we'll probably be getting to this one, like I said, again on audio. This could go in the blue book category for the unread shelf bingo, also could fit in the audiobook category. So yeah. Next is another contemporary book. This is Krista over at Books and Jams pick for her reading group this month, and it's one I actually bought this from Krista when she was doing a little book sale, so it's one I had been looking for, and she was getting rid of the hardcover, so I was like, yes, I will absolutely take that off your hands. It's one that I've been very, very interested in getting to, and I've heard nothing but good things, and that's A Place for Us by Fatima Farheen Mirza. This is a family saga story. This story is about a family who have immigrated from India, and then their experiences living in America, and also then their children's experiences. I think there's kind of an event that we don't know what's happened, but it's kind of caused a fissure in the family, and we're just learning the story and kind of what's going on. So this cover is absolutely glorious. Like I said, it's one that I've been super interested in, have heard nothing but wonderful things, and I really, really hope to get to this, and it was just perfect timing since Krista did pick it for her readathon for the month, or read along for the month. This could fit in the Own Voices story category for my unread shelf bingo. It could also go in the contemporary category for O.W.L.s. There's also a category of like reading a book at night, and I could read this all at night. I do a lot of my reading when it's dark anyway. I guess it could be dark in the morning too, but yes, I plan to fit this somehow into one of those O.W.L.s categories as well. Next is from a favorite author, and it's a nonfiction pick that I'm just quite excited about getting to, and that is Complications, A Surgeon's Notes on an Imperfect Science by Atul Gawande. Atul Gawande wrote Being Mortal, which is one of my absolute most favorite books that I've ever read. Been quite a few years since I picked it up, so I probably need to do a reread, but I snatched a couple of his other books when they were on Book Outlet a year or so ago, so I think it's just about time to get to it. This is kind of just what it says in the title. It's Atul Gawande's kind of personal stories with the imperfect science of being a doctor, and what that means for him and his patients, and what it means for us as like people who receive medical care. He's wise, he's a very concerned and loving doctor, and I just adore him and want to read more of his writing. I remember Being Mortal was a very compelling nonfiction, kind of pulled me through, so I expect this will be a pretty quick read for me, and yes, very excited about that. So this can go in the nonfiction category. This could go in the white category for the O.W.L.s Readathon. It's a pretty white book. So yes, that's kind of where I'll fit that in probably. My book club pick for this month, which I need to get started reading, though I'm not sure what we're going to do to meet, and that is Unburied Singh by Jesmyn Ward. I've not read any Jesmyn Ward, but she is a much beloved author. I honestly don't know much about this. I think there is a storyline of someone who's been imprisoned and the effects on a family. I think there's almost like this kind of mythical aspect to it as well. And so yes, I'm very excited. This could fit in the red book, like it's a red, for the Unread Shelf Bingo Project. This could also fit in the category with an animal that has a beak on it. There's a category in that for the O.W.L.s challenge, and there's a bird on this book. Birds have beaks, so that could squeeze in there. This also could go in a book outside of your favorite genre. This is literary fiction, which is not my fave, so it could go in there. But yes, it's quite a short little guy, and like I said, I need to get started reading it. All right, and then last but not least, I have another mystery. I don't know if I'll get to this and the Maisie Dobbs, but another mystery that I've just kind of been itching to pick up is The Widows of Malabar Hill by Sujata Massey. This is another historical fiction mystery series, but these are set in India, which I absolutely love. A big part of cozy mysteries is the setting to me, and this setting just sounds glorious, plus that cover is so beautiful. I also could get the audiobook for this, so it could go in that category if I choose to pick that up. This is also an own voices story, an author of color, so there's lots of different categories this can fit into for the Unread Shelf Project Bingo. And then, like I said, there's a couple categories like Read at Night for the O.W.L.s Readathon. There's a book where you can assign all these numbers and do a random number generator and read it for that challenge. So yes, there's lots of different ways that I could fit that into the O.W.L.s Readathon. And then if you haven't seen my spring TBR, I will link it up above. I plan to sprinkle those reads in the next couple months, and so might pick up that. I think I'm going to start Risen Motherhood, which I will show you it because it's so beautiful. Just a second. This gorgeous, beautiful book with these beautiful floral illustrations all throughout. So beautiful. So yes, I do plan on picking this up and probably reading it over the springtime, but there's a couple other books that I'll probably sprinkle in. So one of those might be making an appearance as well. But yes, friends, those are everything that I have on the docket for the month of April. I would love to chat with you if you have any opinions, good or bad, about these books. And I would love to know what you are excited about getting to in April. Let's chat down in the comments below. I'm hoping with some more time at home, I read more than I normally do. Is that wishful thinking? I don't know, but it is a hope. So let's chat down in the comments. I hope that you all are having a great start to April. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want more bookish videos. I'd love to have you around here. So thanks so much for watching. Bye.